Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we'll talk about, does your credit history or credit score impact your green card approval? We'll also talk about a lot of other things that you might want to watch out for when you are in the green card approval process. Things can impact you in a negative way if you don't pay attention to these important things. We'll go through some of the top few things that you should remember. And then we'll also talk about the rest of the world spillover for the EB category, whether or not it will happen. This is in regards to the note that USCIS has in the visa bulletin. So a lot of interesting topic here if you are in the green card process. So watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. If you want to reach out to me, do reach out to me on my Patreon site. If you have any questions regarding your situation and want a non-legal advice, what lawyers would not tell you, or if I were in your situation, what I would do contact me on my Patreon site and I'll get back to you within 2 to 3 days. Now there was a paragraph in the visa bulletin, in the November visa bulletin, which says visa availability in the employment second category. Increased demand in the employment based second category may necessitate the establishment of a worldwide final action date in the coming months to hold numbers use within the maximum allowed under the fiscal year 2023 annual limit. This situation will be continually monitored and any necessary adjustment will be made accordingly. Now what I mentioned, the way I interpreted it in the last visa bulletin is the ROW, the rest of the world, or all chargeability column in the EB visa bulletin, that might get a date. The date when USCIS changes anything from current to a date, it means that there is a retrogression. There is enough demand in that particular category so as to USCIS to kind of hold back the guards so that more applications don't pour in. There are several other interpretations of this in the sense that they are looking at the EB category as a whole and putting dates across the board for all the regions. So basically not just India, China and others, but also for the rest of the world, which is the all chargeability. So in that way, they will actually get a limit on all the applications that are coming for EB category, and then in the future they can decide whether how many can be spilled over from the rest of the world into the backlog countries. So that is another interpretation to be made. Regardless, it feels like they have a lot of EB applications and they are already anticipating that there will be even more applications in this category, and in order to stay within the limits for 2023, they are taking a chance by implementing a date for across the board for EB2 category. So that might be the situation. Regardless, we'll see what happens in the next visa bulletin. Now coming back to our original topic, and before we go into that topic, I would encourage you to look at the links in the description that are for different products and sponsors. If you do purchase any of those products or sponsors through those links, the channel will get a little bit of a commission. And while you are down there, it might help the channel if you press the like button and subscribe button. I would appreciate it a lot. Now let's go back to our topic of discussion. Now, when you are in the green card adjustment of status, or for that matter, any stage in the green card, or even for that matter, for any stage in your visa life cycle, including the green card processing, you might want to consider, or you might want to pay attention to some of the important things in your day-to-day life that may come back and haunt you at the time of green card approval. Because remember, there is a background check that happens when you give your fingerprints or biometrics to USCIS. They actually do a FBI file check. The FBI file check actually does, if you have any kind of a criminal record or criminal history, that can pop up and that can be held negative against you. Now it depends on what level of crime you have committed. If it's a petty crime like running a stoplight or things like that, it may not be a big of a deal. But if it's a DUI, like driving under influence of alcohol or things like that, or domestic violence, it is a big deal, and that can deny you of your green card, and that is automatic rejection for your green card. Now there was a question for me whether the credit report or credit score, whether that will have any impact on your green card processing. Now if you think about it, when USCIS is doing a background check, they're not just doing your criminal history background check, they're looking at all aspects of your life. So basically they are also going to look at how much good of a citizen you are. There is also such thing as good citizen. So basically what it means is how are you leading your life in the United States? Are you following all the rules and regulations? Or are you following the law? Not just in terms of criminality, but also in terms of paying the bills, paying the dues that you owe for any kind of services that you have availed, paying your taxes and those sort of things. If you have not done those things, and if you have a low credit score as a result of not paying some bills, that is a negative. But it is not that much of a negative so as to get you your green card denied. But when you get into tax frauds, or if you have a lot of pending tax obligations, or if there is a significant amount of bills that you haven't paid to say phone company or utilities or whatever, and that has reflected on your credit score or credit report, that could have a negative impact on the outcome of your green card processing. Just by having a low credit score does not mean that that is held negative against you, but things that you have done or have not done in terms of paying your bills or paying your taxes, that can have a detrimental impact on your approval of your green card. Now let's go through some additional things that can also impact your approval of your green card. One of the other things that you might want to pay attention, and that is part of your process, is of course the medical report. So that report is very important. That's 693 I-693 form that is signed by your physician, and then that is submitted to the USCIS as part of your application process for 485. Now why is this important? Because it is important because it can lead to the denial of your case if you have some kind of a communicable disease, or if you fail to provide the documentation for vaccinations. So there are certain set of vaccinations that are required in this country, including the COVID-19 vaccination. So if you fail to take those vaccinations, or fail to declare that you have taken or not have taken, that can impact your I-693 form, which eventually has a bearing on your approval of your green card case. Other things that can come up in terms of medical is if you have an addiction to the drug or alcohol, to the extent that there is a substance abuse and causing unnecessary harm to other individuals. So if that is the case, if there is a substance abuse or drug abuse, that is going to impact your case, because that is going to show up in your medical report, which will have a bearing on outcome of your green card application. Now if you have some kind of a major criminal record like murder, or if you have multiple vandalisms or drug trafficking or prostitution and serious violations in terms of religious freedom and things like that, that can have a big impact on your case. And these are all the questions that are part of your I-485 application. So if you have to be very truthful while answering all of these criminal related or criminal violations related answers, and you have to be very truthful about them, and that is very, very important. The reason is because USCIS probably has access to a lot of different agencies throughout the government. All the different government agencies, such as your DMV, your police report, and your FBI file report, and so many different places. Even your medical report may be available to them. So they have access to a lot of information, and the questions that are asked in your I-485 have to be truthfully answered. Because if you don't answer them truthfully, if you say you did not have any DUI, or you did not have any traffic violation or things like that, and if they have access to that, and if they determine that you did and you are lying, that can be a straightforward denial in your case, and there are very less chances that you can fight that back, because it is a misrepresentation. Now misrepresentation is a very important word in the green card process, because if you misrepresent in any way regarding your status, regarding your background, regarding your education, regarding your experience, regarding your violations, criminality, those sort of things, if you misrepresent in any way, that can be an outright denial of your green card. Now what can be other reasons for your denial of your green card? Other reasons could be if you are affiliated with some banned organization. with some organizations that are listed in the terrorist list, or if you are associated with anti-national kind of organizations, then that can have a detrimental effect on your green card approval. If you do anything against the nation in terms of espionage or planning for espionage, or violate intellectual property related things, and those sort of things, even if you are working for a company and if you have committed some kind of a fraud within the corporate world in terms of IP violation, in terms of privacy violation, that can also come back and haunt you in your green card application process. Now, there used to be a public charge related violation as well. It's not a violation, but if you have been on a visa and if you have availed some kind of a public charge benefits, so benefits such as food stamp or some kind of a loan, or misrepresented yourself to be economically low income and availed some services, or if you do not have a health insurance whereas while paying the taxes, because some states have mandatory health insurance declaration requirement. So if you have violated any of those, or if you have availed those kind of a public charge kind of services, that may be termed as a negative in terms of approval of your green card. Now, during the Trump era, these public charge related things were strictly followed, but in the Biden era, I don't think public charge is looked at as negative as it used to be in the past. Now, I can't stress enough how important it is to be truthful in your entire application process, in regards to your education, in regards to the documentation that you submit to the USCIS. So your educational transcripts, your degree certificates, your birth certificates, if they are fraudulently obtained, or if they don't appear to be legitimate, that will be outright denial of your case. So don't make any forgery in terms of documentation that you provide to USCIS. It could be anything. It could be your educational document, marriage certificate, birth certificate, those sort of things. Acquire them in a legitimate way and have the paper trail of all of those documentation in case USCIS has any further RFEs on those. Now, there are other things that you might want to watch out for, and one of the important things is, once you are in the I-485 application process, there are certain things you need to remember. There is a restriction of how long can you wait outside or be outside of the country before you will be deemed abandoning of your adjustment of status. So a rule of thumb is, don't go outside the country for more than like 3 to 4 months. Once you start crossing 6 months to a year, there will be a lot of questions while you return back to United States in terms of your intent of adjustment of status. And once you cross 1 year of stay outside of the United States, it will be deemed abandonment of your adjustment of status or I-485 application. So make sure that you have the advance parole document with you when you leave the United States, and don't be outside for more than a couple of months. Similarly, another important thing to remember is, while you are on the visa, and most of our backlog countries individuals, they live in the United States for several years, if not decades, before they can get their green card. And during this time, they have probably changed multiple visa types. So they probably came on the visitor, or they came on the student visa, then they changed to OPT, and then they changed to H1B or L1 or whatever the case may be. During all of these, and in top of that, extensions and so on. So you got to be careful that you are not in a violation of your status in any time during that entire time that you have been in the United States. USCIS has visibility over when you went out and when you left the country and came back into the country. They have all the dates, and they could easily determine if at any given point of time you were considered out of status. In that case, there are violations, there are bans, 3-year ban and 10-year ban. There are waivers that can be applied to get a pardon for those kind of violations. But regardless, those are the things that you should be watching out for. Never stay out of status in the United States if you haven't got your green card yet. And as always, there is always, if USCIS for any reason denies your case, and if you think that they have wrongfully denied your case, there is always an appeals process, and you can talk to your lawyer if that is the case with you. because denials do happen with H1B extensions, L1 extensions, EB, in any of those categories. Even I-140s and I-130s get denied. But if I-485 gets denied, that is a big deal, because that is denial of your green card, and you should talk to your lawyer to find out reason why your I-485 was denied in the first place. For that matter, why I-140 was also denied, things like that. Because once you know the reason, you can correct that that part of your application and resubmit it or appeal the process once again to get your approval. So those were the things that I quickly wanted to kind of go over. If you have reached this stage of the video and if you find this video interesting, do press the like button, because that really helps the channel. And also, if you like the content of this video, do subscribe to my channel. By the way, I'm still contemplating on what is going to be my giveaway this time around. I haven't decided yet, but I will be doing a giveaway very soon. So stick around to my channel and I will disclose that in my next video. So see you soon.